Does NASCAR have a new plan to race in LA? Let's get into it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, is NASCAR going to race at Dodger Stadium? Let's find out, according to Road and Track. Like I said, this article is from Road and Track author Fred Smith. NASCAR could race at Dodger Stadium. The Los Angeles Coliseum may be out of the stock car racing game, but NASCAR's days of racing in Los Angeles stadiums might not be done just yet. For most of the past 25 years, NASCAR's Los Angeles area home was a 2-mile oval in Fontana. Demolition of that track began after a 2023 race, and construction of a planned short track built on the property has still not been approved by the series leadership. The series raced inside of the Los Angeles Coliseum in an exhibition race the past 3 years, but word in NASCAR circles suggests that the 2024 event may have been the venue's last. That leaves NASCAR without a home in or near one of the country's largest markets, but that might change soon. All right, so from that quote right there, we basically have two problems off jump. The first being that NASCAR wants a race in the LA market, and that is understandable. LA is one of the biggest sports markets, one of the biggest media markets, and just population-wise, just one of the biggest cities in the United States. So from that perspective, it completely makes sense. And you had that with the LA Coliseum. It was a novelty event, but for 3 years, you had that race in LA. After, each year it kind of declined, though. The Coliseum deal, it lost its novelty. The first year, I feel like, was a good PR and media success. It got a lot of positive press from the media, but year after year, it just got smaller and smaller, and so the novelty of it, in my opinion, did wear off. And of course, that leads to the problem of you need a racetrack in LA, with the only problem to that being you have a racetrack in LA, or at least a racetrack property that you haven't done anything with. So NASCAR has a property there that they haven't done anything, yet they've had the LA Coliseum race for 3 races in a row, which is, of course, a track that they built inside of a Coliseum. So you're able to do that 3 years in a row, but you're not able to build a racetrack around the ruins because the stands, at least some of them, are still there. You've been able to build a racetrack 3 times, but you haven't been able to do anything with the LA or with the Fontana property in those 3 attempts at LA. So it makes, at the very best, NASCAR look disorganized. At the absolute worst, it makes them look completely incompetent. That you've had several opportunities, you've spent all this money for the LA Coliseum thing, and you have a racetrack right there in LA, the same market, and your biggest reason for doing the LA Coliseum race was to have a race in LA when you've already got a racetrack in LA, basically. You're spending, it makes no sense, at least to me. So after spending all that money on the LA Coliseum and it getting, less novel each year, getting less eyeballs, the money going into it not being justified by the returns from TV or from people attending the race, now you still need a track. You still haven't done anything with Fontana, so you still need a track in LA. So what is NASCAR's possible answer to this? Dodger Stadium, a baseball stadium built on top of a hill surrounded by a massive parking lot that overlooks downtown Los Angeles, is among the candidates to replace both the Coliseum and the now departed California Speedway, according to a report from Sports Business Journal. What that race could actually look like is unclear, but since NASCAR may currently be without a visible plan or a viable plan to race in LA in 2025, the plan could come together quickly. And the article continues to say it might be a Coliseum type race where they build a track on the inside of Dodger Field, or it could be a street circuit race, both of which are sort of going to have their problems. But let me attack the first aspect of it first. The Coliseum novelty thing has already lost its appeal. So even if you build a track inside of Dodger Stadium, they've already seen it done over there at USC. So that part of it has lost its novelty. So that's not going to move the needle, in my opinion, to people, the LA residents. We saw the last one. I know it was weather affected, but even the one before that had less attendance than the first one. So the novelty of it, building inside of a Coliseum or inside of a stadium, I feel like has already lost its impact in the LA area. Now you could move it somewhere else and that would be a different story, but we're talking about LA right here. So that I feel like it's lost its novelty there. So that would lead the option of a street race, and a street race for an exhibition race, that kind of would eliminate the one thing that I thought the Coliseum races did have going for it, and that's heat races. The good thing about heat races was it was eliminating cars, so you had to watch the heat races. It gave basically your qualifying some consequences. So I thought that was the greatest thing about the Coliseum that they could have brought to an exhibition type race. And now with a street race where you go inside the stadium and, I guess around the streets, in the parking lot, wherever, however they're going to, make that work, you've sort of lost the heat race aspect of it, which was the best part of the exhibition to begin with, in my opinion. The second part of that is, for a street course or a road course or anything like that, you want to have as many cars on the track as possible because that is a long course. This exhibition race has not had all of the cars in the field, and that's kind of what makes these exhibition races special. You either have to qualify for it, or you have to win your way in through one of those heat races. And in that aspect of it, who wants to see 25 cars on a road course? We saw that at Daytona for the Clash. I think one year NASCAR tried that, and it was not... I thought it was good, but, a lot of people did not really appreciate that as their Clash race. So yeah, either way that they decide, if they decide to do this, of course, this is a big speculative article. If they decide to do this, I don't really see it moving the needle for the LA fan base one way or the other, because it's either going to be like a street course, road course type deal, which, that could go either way. I think it won't be as good as the Chicago street course race went, and I'll be interesting to see the attendance and stuff at the Chicago street course this year. Does the novelty wear off like the LA Coliseum wore off over there? But the same thing will happen with LA, right? Will the street course be successful if you don't have all 43 cars or 40 cars on the track? That's a big question in my mind. I just don't see this working out. Now, if they race inside the stadium, like I said, that novelty's already worn off too. I think I know NASCAR wants the LA market. I feel like NASCAR's best way to get the LA market is to finish that track in Fontana. And once you finish that track in Fontana, you can have a regular points-paying race in Fontana. The fans can come out to that, and you can take this Clash and move it somewhere else that doesn't have racing. I think moving it city to city would be the best thing for the Clash, or take it back to Daytona, whichever way you want to do it. But moving it around is the best idea, because then you can take it to several different markets that don't get NASCAR very often. And through doing that, you'll probably hit on something. You'll hit on a market where you're like, oh, hey, these guys really like, what we're doing over here. So I think moving the Clash around is the better idea. And if you want to race in LA, finish building the Fontana track and be done with it. Finalize the plans. Build the track. Stop being indecisive. Get it done. All right. That's all I got for you on this one. If you made it this far, I would love to have your subscription. If not, I'll keep making these things. If you're already subscribed, I appreciate you guys as well. If you want to help out the channel, visit the merch store where you can get sweatshirts like this. We also have t-shirts, hats, and stickers. And if you got a question or comment, leave it down in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. Try to get to as many of them as I can. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.